Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today. Very, very cold. It's 25 degrees in New York, Long Island right now. With an Earth 2 update. I actually don't know. Yes, here we go. Here is the start. So many theories. Shout out to Guidebook Gaming yesterday for having me on their Twitch. Referral links down below, Patreon as well. Right now, they could have in-game a hero's calling, similar to raid battles in other games and Pokemon Go. And they could have monsters appear in the game and give bonuses to people who fight and defend cities and defend wherever. It's not something that they've mentioned. It's just something I think that they could do to incentivize people that, let's say, don't want to fight with other clans, don't want to fight with other people, but they want to fight this enemy. They want to be able to use weapons and stuff without having the risk of being attacked back by other people and getting revenge like that. So in the game Everwing, you can make a Facebook group, however many people you want, on Facebook Messenger, and everyone that fights the big bosses at the end makes it to make it easier, and the award the people based on how much damage you do to the boss. It's kind of like, oh, whoever gets the last hit gets the most. No, it's whoever does the most damage to the boss in that time gets the most awards. And even if you damage them just a little bit, you'll get a little bit of the reward just for helping. A problem I do see with the game is that, to be completely honest, and you guys might call me crazy here, but there might not be enough room on Earth 2 to build exactly everything you want. Figure in Minecraft there are lots of space and people will use a lot of it. Like PewDiePie has the IKEA tower. Other people, including himself, might try to recreate that. There's always so many things that are going to be recreated. Buildings that are currently standing right now. Then you have buildings that are now gone. CBGB's, a famous rock house from New York, comes to mind. Somewhere where the Ramones had started and other famous rock bands in New York. Now, speaking of New York, I do want to rebuild the Twin Towers. I want to be able to give New York their skyline back. Now, obviously, who knows in New York what's actually going to be created or recreated, but that is something that I do hope to do. Some might recreate fictional towns like Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls, or the Mushroom Kingdom from Peach's Castle, or hell, even Kanto and Johto from the Pokemon. I guarantee you there's going to be multiple places like that, creating Pallet Town and Route 2 and Viridian City, the Viridian Forest, Pewter City. There's going to be so much out there that is going to be recreated. Like I said, they might have to, on Earth 2, make an ISS space station and make actual another planet like Mars so we can do stuff like this. Now, this could all be done, but would take a large amount of space. Once land runs out, I feel like people will start to terraform ocean tiles for more land. This isn't including the giant blocks of tiles that will be bought by media companies for advertising purposes. Guidebook Gaming had previously discussed Platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter. So with that in mind, there could be hidden portals or secret things that you might find while digging around or just doing anything. If anyone has played Mario 64, one of the first levels that you play is the snow world where you race that big penguin. And in that race, there is a secret part in the wall that is a shortcut, and there will probably be Easter eggs like that coded in this game. That's just one of those things that just makes a lot of sense. Oh, here's a shortcut. I can get from here to here. There'll obviously be some sort of travel. If it's not teleportation, portals from one place to another. But outside of the portals, there might be, oh, here's a secret thing that nobody knows about. Just fun things that for you to discover during the time there. Outside of secret shortcuts and teleportation, since the developers mentioned tunnels being a big part of the experience, I see no reason why they won't be hidden blocks or resources we could get while boring these tunnels or just digging in general. Like Joey from Friends, some people just want to dig a hole. Moving on to economics. Someone in the Guidebook Gaming Twitch recently mentioned that the game could help those overseas make more money, and absolutely correct, via this virtual business. Something similar had been done in Venezuela. The citizens of Venezuela, run by President Maduro, they were trying to make additional capital by mining for Bitcoin, and Maduro unfortunately banned this practice. He did not like it for whatever reason. So that, in conjunction with his socialist policies, all these people lost a whole bunch of weight. and they actually called it the Maduro diet because he banned these practices. And why they couldn't say, well, why can't you just mine Bitcoin anyway? They could, and people did, but the problem was that it just used so much electricity, it used so much energy that Maduro was able to pinpoint which spots were trying to mine for Bitcoin just based on their location, their energy output. So he went in there, no knock raided them, and just absolutely destroyed them. But bringing this back around, if people are able to use this, whether it's overseas in Middle East or North Korea maybe, or in Venezuela, places where people don't have a lot of money, and they're able to make an account, buy one tile for 10 cents, get those resources, not only the tax revenue, which would be a couple pennies, but tax revenue, and they get materials. They could just sell the materials for real world money and withdraw it for themselves. The potential for this is huge to lift people out of poverty. Someone asked me before, why is South Africa a good buy? And I don't know. This is just a theory, but because it's part of those BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they all, in the real world, help each other out and do deals together outside of the US dollar. They try to make the deals in oil, they try to make the deals in the rupee or the Chinese yuan. And the Chinese, speaking of which, a lot of their money is going into building South Africa, railroads and all this stuff, because, well, right now labor's a little cheap over there, but they know that it's a joke that South Africa is China's China, where they can go invest a lot of money. It'll pay off big time for their economy. This is just something that they could do. That's why I think South Africa is good. Again, I own it, so I'm kind of plugging it. Oh yeah, so as long as this game doesn't take up that much energy, people can make money and lift themselves out of poverty. In South Korea, they are making an artificial sun in the real world, or as close to it as you can get. The Korea Superconducting Tomac Advanced Research, or K-STAR, has been working with Columbia University in the U.S. They set a world record by maintaining a temperature of 100 million degrees Celsius for over 20 seconds. If you could do something like this in-game, use science to be able to say, hey, I am superheating or super cooling something, you could do a lot. Because I don't think these gamers, these developers that maybe in Silicon Valley, that usually when you're this much into like technology or coding, you're usually on the left side politically, and they would not want to be able to push coal or oil. They'd probably want to say like, oh, electricity, buy a Tesla instead of a car, make these aircraft electric instead of running on fossil fuels. And speaking of Tesla, Tesla, for those of you who don't know, they do not spend one single penny on advertising. They don't need to. Elon Musk himself just has a Twitter following of a country of like 35 million people. So when I go in these games, and I've seen in multiple areas, Antarctica and Belize and Puerto Rico, Tesla, I don't know what that is, so shout out for whoever's doing that, because you're just absolutely branding for the company, my stock. I love that. I love you. This is something where the developers of this game are probably going to want people to do stuff like science-y like this. I mean, not exactly like this, creating plasma 100 million degrees Celsius, but they would want to push this type of electricity. They would want to push this type of green energy, because they don't want probably not oil or coal or any type of fossil fuels like that. Guidebook Gaming also asked me on a Twitch stream yesterday, been mentioning him a lot in this video, what I thought of airplanes in the game. It seemed to make sense for him because I was on the Twitch, and he said, oh, you're in the Air Force. What do you think of aircraft in the game? And I hadn't thought of it before. I looked over it when I saw the trailer, and he said, oh, right here, there's aircraft going this way and this way. I was like, oh, you're right. And basically, I figured if there's no good way of transporting your materials, if there's no good way of taking, oil from Alaska and, monsters or meat you found in Antarctica and, good sand that you found in Kuwait, whatever you have, wood and stuff from Brazil and the Amazon rainforest, if you can't transport them to your main spot, which is, let's say, in Austria, in Europe, you could probably rent out someone's aircraft. Someone could make an aircraft, cargo airship like a KC-10, a C-5, or C-17. It doesn't have to be U.S. It could just be a whatever plane that holds a lot of stuff. So, oh, I'll fly to you. Okay, bring all your stuff to you over here, so that, let's say, it doesn't take forever, or you just don't have to build there, and they could rent space out on your aircraft. That is something that I really think I would want to do, partly because I was in the Air Force, but I never flew a plane, flown on them, but I don't have my pilot's license. But that's something that I've wanted to do, fly planes, since Star Fox. And speaking of which, Star Fox, if you could make those types of aircraft, like real world aircraft, there should be no reason why you can't make Luke's X-Wing from Star Wars or the R-Wing from Star Fox and having dogfights in the game. When I say dogfights, I don't mean like, pit bulls fighting each other. No, that's horrible. I'd never do that. Never want anyone to do that. But in the 1940s, when World War II was happening, people were actually fighting in the air with aircraft, and that's when the name dogfighting took place. I would love to see something like that. You obviously can't right now because of licensing and whatever. You can't have Luke's X-Wing and Star Fox, but you could have the plane that they have from X-Men fighting Luke's the Millennium Falcon. You could have all these things now that wouldn't have been able to cross over into this. The possibilities of this are mind-blowing. I cannot freaking wait. There is so much stuff. The amount of money or materials that this would cost is unknown right now. So it's something that I want to do. There's so many things. I just don't have time for it. Thank you guys. Again, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I'll see you all later on today for a Pokemon sales data video, and then later on tonight for another one of the Earth 2 YouTube videos. I love you. Please wish me luck at the gym. Goodbye. Meow.